Hello. Hey, everybody. Hello to everybody in the comments and all of the members. I see you there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Big thank you to my mods today, too. I know that Nancy's here, Mama Opal, Grace, Kelly. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Who's here? I think Are You Jellin might be popping in if she's not already here. Help the mods out. If you have a question, put question in front of it and have your question follow. That will help Nancy star some things so we can get to as many of them as we can. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we talk about the Scientology news that has the internet buzzing. We also touch on my 35 years in Scientology and leaving with 3 generations of my family. I also do interviews and collaborations with other creators in this genre throughout the week. So when you do hit that notification bell, remember, why do I always call? Yeah, first you got to hit the subscribe button, then the notification bell. And everybody who's already here, please head over to that like button and just give it a little tap, just a little tap. Thank you so much. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff today. We're going to talk about some protest news. We're going to talk about some celebrities and scary cults. We're going to get into a little bit of Real Housewives news with Rebekka Minkoff, who is classing up the place, apparently, if you ask her. There have been some great interviews lately, too, that we're going to touch on that I think you guys are going to love, that I have loved. I've just been obsessed. I have been so obsessed. In fact, somebody, thank you so much, whoever sent me, and my apologies for not having your name top of mind, whoever sent me the speaker for the shower, oh my gosh, did it rock my world yesterday. I often, that time of day, will be listening to a stream, and sometimes it's live, and I'll sometimes miss my shower window because I don't want to stop listening. This speaker went right in the shower. I could hear so well. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was a little weird being in the shower though, and listening to Aaron and D.O.A, but it was amazing. I loved it. Thank you so much for your suggestions on that. You guys are genius, just genius. Okay, let's take a look at here. We're going to start out with, there's a channel, Most Amazing Top 10. And you know, they're going to be doing a list about cults. And they did. This one's got a little bit of a twist to it, though. This one is the price of fame, celebrities who were in scary, real cults. So let's take a look at, let's see, who do they name in this? You know, for sure. I'm surprised. I don't know if it's in any type of order, but Scientology was number 2. Let's take a look at this.
Scientology. This next one is pretty controversial, as many debate whether it is a new form of religion or a business or a cult or all 3. If you guess Scientology, then you are correct. And I almost don't even need to tell you who are our stars involved with it. We got Tom Cruise, we got Elizabeth Moss, we got Christy Alley, and John Travolta, and actually many more. One of the reasons people think this religion is so far-fetched was that it was found by an American science fiction writer, Ron L. Hubbard, in 1955. It was initially introduced as a kind.
She gets a few little things, like it's L. Ron Hubbard and Kirstie Alley, not Christy Alley, but no big deal, no big deal.
Kind of therapy called Dianetics, which sought to erase the content of the active mind so the soul could be more.
And it's reactive mind, not active mind, but hey, at least she's talking about it.
Or free. But Hubbard came to detest it, as many psychologists denounced it. He was like, oh, never mind, I hate it. Whatever. Scientologists mainly focus on the evolution of the spirit on Earth and something called the Thetan, which they believe is an extraterrestrial creature who created all things.
Not 100% on point, but close enough. And I can totally see how that interpretation of a Thetan would be, especially with the Xenu story and all of that. But nonetheless, got a giggle out of it. Love seeing out there when other creators are putting that spotlight on Scientology. Because did you guys know? Gather in for a did you guys know? Did you guys know that the Office of Special Affairs, OSA, wake up, they have to keep statistics of inches of positive press about Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard, but also negative. So I don't know how that works with YouTube, if they go by the minute or they go by how many subscribers or views that video got. I'm not sure. But just know that every time you guys like a video in Scientology, it messes with the Office of Special Affairs and their statistics. God forbid you comment or subscribe to a channel. All of those things help to get these messages into the algorithm on YouTube. And the Office of Special Affairs, they're supposed to be tracking negative press. I don't know how they can possibly keep track, to be honest. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't. Hey, Aaron, good to see you here. Welcome. Here for your morning news. You're catching us right as we're getting going here. Let's talk about Rebekka Minkoff. People. There's this whole article in the Sun about like, okay, there's, two potential new cast members because, they're saying, well, it's undetermined. She can't even confirm that she's been recording with, the Real Housewives people, but she is. Now, I just want to go down to the part that has to do with Rebekka Minkoff because I'm like, whatever. On the other stuff, that part right now is not so important. So let's see. Here it is. Now, for those of you who might not know, Rebekka Minkoff is a Scientologist, a second-generation Scientologist. Her father, David Minkoff, had something to do with the death of Lisa McPherson, who died at the hands of the Church of Scientology. And then her dad had to pay all this money and has been continuing to try to make amends to Scientology and get back into those good graces ever since. Her brother is an Office of Special Affairs narc and spy. So they're deep. They run deep in Scientology. Though I feel like this might be her way out. That's why I'm cheerleading this. I'm like, you go, Rebekka. You get on that Real Housewives. Listen to this. So the article's talking about, she had a baby. Here's the part that kind of got me. When asked what she would want her fans to see, she revealed, I think I have a personality that doesn't come through an Instagram picture. And you can get a little bit of it on my podcast, but where else do you get it? And so hopefully you see that side, or you see how hardworking I am, or how I support women, or how if and when there's a disagreement, I'm like, let's figure it out. Okay, that's cool, right? That's good. That's cool. That's right. Well, it goes on. And I have theories and thoughts about why she's making these particular points. She says, and really just who I am as a person shines through. Hopefully that's, knock on wood, that if I'm edited for the good. So, because on these shows, they can edit anybody any way that they want to, is the thing. And, here she is with her hubby and the kids. And that must have been before the baby. I feel like I'm missing the spot that there was another part of this article that I wanted to go over with you. I will get back into watching Real Housewives of New York if she's on it. I totally will. I haven't watched it in ages. So here it is. She says, The Sun caught up with Rebekka at the annual Accessories Council Excellence Awards earlier this month in New York. Rebekka was unable to confirm her role on the show or even if she was filming with the Housewives at the time, which she was. It's been all over social media. We've seen it. However, she did say that she was a fan of the reboot and spoke about her friendships with the cast. And this is Rebekka speaking. I was a fan of the reboot last season. I've known Jenna. I think Sai is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I know Aaron. And so I was happy to see that they really pivoted the show to be not about getting drunk and raging at each other, that it was classier and more elevated, Rebekka told the U.S. Sun. I mean, I think that you can have petty drama, fine. But women should be seen supporting each other and being successful. And to me, I like that they sort of changed it to that. Did they though? Did they change it to that? Did I miss something? Anybody else watch Real Housewives of New York? I don't know. I got to go and watch. Now, don't get it twisted. Showing women in a better light and things like that, I'm all for that. That's not what this show is. That's not what this franchise of Real Housewives is. We all know this. You're not going to go and show up and stop all the petty drama and the drunken rages. That is why people watch the show. This is probably why cast members have called her boring. She also talks about how, nothing's going to be off limits for the most part. She adds that part at the end. Nothing's going to be off limits for the most part. In other words, nothing's going to be off limits unless you ask about Scientology or my family's involvement in the cult of Scientology. Interesting. So yeah, going to keep an eye on that. If you guys see something, say something, email me, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. Let me know what you see. Send those links with timestamps or, better yet, clips if it's under a minute, links to articles. Tell me what I'm looking at. Now, I will tell you what you're looking at. What we're about to look at is D.O.A. at the UCLA protests, going off on calling out some reporters on their incorrect and lack of coverage of what's happening with protests in Scientology. We've got a couple clips. Let's check it out.
Lied about it. And then you interview two of us and you cut it out.
So he's speaking to the reporter who covered. It was after, it was after somebody had gotten arrested, and the reporter left out the key part of the story is that the protesters were protesting Scientology.
He cut out the part that we were protesting Scientology. We need some accurate reporting.
And he's just kind of, continuing to communicate those things and those concerns. And then the reporter there is just pretty much ignoring him. And then there's a guy trying to act as security to get in between there. And there's another one, too, we're going to take a little bit of a look at. It was kind of interesting to see their reaction to all of that, especially with D.O.A. there in his signature barefoot fur coat and fun sunglasses.
We've been protesting for months here. There's been over 30 attacks on us. No one wants to do anything, man. I keep telling ABC, man, and it's like you guys are Disney's little bitch. Whoa! Really?
Oh, did you hear that one? Whoa! Yeah, he was really calling them out there. Calling them out there. All right. Did you see Kelli Copter did a fantastic interview with Blowdrill? Blowdrill, we see him in the chat here all the time. He is here on YouTube. His name is Dylan. He had an incredibly interesting position in Scientology in the Sea organization, being that he was involved in the project to create those underground and into the mountain vaults to put L. Ron Hubbard's technology onto discs that will last for eternity in case, zombie apocalypse or anything like that happens. And each of these locations has a home for L. Ron Hubbard. Did you know that? And a caretaker couple that takes care of it. They're like 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I mean, these sound like nice places. But nobody's there. Nobody's there but L. Ron Hubbard's stuff and the caretakers. So Dylan's got a really interesting perspective on all of this, and they get into the rehabilitation project force in Scientology, among other things. Excellent interview. We are going to look at a little clip.
And I was sneaking off every once in a while and hanging out with my friends, skateboarding and, being kind of an ethics bait or ethics particle. And so my father decided that the best thing would be for me to join the Sea Org. And it was right at that time where it's like you're developing to a point where I wanted 2 years earlier. And then when I turned 14, I was kind of like, well, I don't know. I like hanging out with my friends and it's kind of fun, like doing those things. And, right. And so that was kind of thwarted of like, you need to get your responsibility in, you need to, really look at the estimation of effort of what it's going to take to clear the planet. And, those were obviously perpetrated by recruiters who would go around to all the orgs and missions. And
that is how they would manipulate young people. Remember, Dylan was 14 years old when he went into the Sea organization. Forget skateboarding. Forget hanging out with your friends. That is out ethics. That is other fish to fry, as they say in Scientology. Forget all that stuff. All that fun you should be having as a child. You are an immortal being. You should be carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, the clearing of the planet. Get your priorities straight. Like, I'm not even kidding. That is their point of view that Sea Org recruiters do. And Dylan talks about how his dad tried to get him to go into the Sea organization straight onto the rehabilitation project force, which is like, whoa, that's intense. Dylan's story is amazing. He also goes on to talk about, they get into some of the, how the Sea Org strips away individuality. And this is across the boards in Scientology, but he gives a very good example of how this happens. And Pink Ladybug, estimation of effort. It's like, you have to clean your car. You got to know like how much time is it going to take? How much, energy might you need to do it? Estimate the effort needed to get the job done. All of the things that go into it, right? Supplies, time, all of that. So when Scientology throws that estimation of effort to clear the planet in your face, they're saying, it is so vital. It's such an emergency. The world, the planet needs Scientology so much that you need to stop skateboarding as a child. You need to stop hanging out with your friends and you need to join this movement. You need to join, of course, they don't say cult, but it's cult, and clear the planet, because that's what it's going to take, us sacrificing and giving up having families, giving up being with our families, all of these things, because that's the estimation of the effort. That's the level of dedication that it's going to take. That's the kind of stuff they say to people. Like, no joke. It's so gross. It's so gross. Okay, take a look at this.
You identify as your post. You don't say, oh, I'm Dylan, the COPE officer. You are the COPE officer for this. And that's how you identify yourself. So you basically put yourself in that role all the time. I realized a lot when I was in the Sea Org that what the true product of Scientology and the true real thing of what an OT is, if there really is a Sea Org member. Because they just overcome no matter what. They do. It's the most unusual solutions of getting products. Like in the Sea Org, if failure is not an option, you don't fail, or you have consequences that are too gruesome to confront. So it's, and when you do fail, you honestly want to do everything you can not to.
Yep, no joke there. No joke there. There is no failure. My ex-Sea Org friends in the chat here, what is it? Or actually my ex-Scientology friends, you guys would know too. What is it? The supreme test of a Thetan is his ability to make things go right, something like that. That might not be an exact quote by cult leader L. Ron Hubbard, but it's something like that. The extreme test of a Thetan is the ability to make things go right. Make it go right. That is the motto. You would hear that all the time in the Sea Org. Oh, you have to fly somebody to San Francisco with no money. Make it go right. True story. That was an actual thing that happened to me after the earthquakes in San Francisco. I was working at the Continental Liaison Office, and they needed to get Scientology Sea Org missionaries there at the org to get them back on production. Forget the fact that there was this gigantic, devastating earthquake. Do you guys remember? It was back in the 80s. I want to say, right? Maybe it was before my daughter was born, and Shelby was born towards the end of 90. So it had to have been between 88 and 90, I think. There was that big San Francisco earthquake. And one of the people in my organization that was in charge of making sure we didn't violate any of L. Ron Hubbard's financial policies comes to me and says, make it go right. I don't want to know how you did it. That happened a lot. That happened a lot. All right. So let's go over to the video that Oh No Nora and literally Serge did about the truth rundown in Scientology. Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology and I did a video the other day about brainwashing, gaslighting, and this truth rundown in Scientology and how it's a control mechanism to control Scientologists, especially staff members and Sea Org members. Well, Oh No Nora and Serge are two very trained individuals when it comes to Scientology doctrine. And it sometimes freaks people out who are Scientologists when they find out that that is the case, because they don't think, most of the protesters have never been in Scientology, but boy, do they know their Scientology, because, never in Scientology, all in on ending the cult. Nora, they're trained in what's called the golden age attack. In Scientology speak, that's like the latest training, and you got through this intense program, and it is an accomplishment. It actually is, to get through those training programs, because Scientology makes it so hard and it's so grueling. It's nothing anyone should have to be doing. But often, and Nora's going to share a story when she's protesting and runs into people who find out that, hey, she does know. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. Listen to this.
Asking any of these people who will actually talk to you for more than like a half a second, like, what course are you on? What are you doing? And this one lady got out of her Tesla. I saw her pull up, and it was like her and maybe her sister. I wasn't sure if they were mother-daughter or not, but they might have been because they looked a lot alike, but they, and so I see her get out. She gets her materials out of the back. And I noticed like she had a course pack, and I was like, "Oh, are you going on course today?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What course are you on?" And she looks at me and goes, "Academy level 4." Like as if I'm not, like as if she's speaking Chinese, right? Or something, like I'm not going to understand. And I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what that is. I used to supervise it. I'm a Golden Age of Tech supervisor." And then she was like, and just like ran for the door.
Because you see, Scientologists think that the people who have left Scientology and are the internet talking about it, they're just, they're from another time, and they were the ones perpetuating the abuses. And actually, some of them are, let's be honest. But here's the thing. They don't expect that. They don't. So I just love it when it happens, when, Serge is out there or Nora or other people, and they realize like, no, they know what's up. They speak your language. They do. And are able to let you know that, hey, there is life after this cult, and that help them understand that their doubts are real. Like they saw the same things. It scares them. It scares Scientology, and it scares Scientologists. Because they can just look at protesters who they think who've never been in Scientology and just see them as, oh, they're just agitators. They're being paid by big pharma. I'm still waiting on my check. I have protested a few times. So big pharma, what up? This is the narrative that they feed to Scientologists. So it really flies in the face of that when they find out that, oh no, Nora is actually quite trained in the Scientology doctrine, as is literally Serge and other people as well. So I love it. I love when that comes up. All right, and then Serge made a really good point about cover-ups in Scientology, and when it comes to videotapes, and he makes reference to the recent,
look at the P. Diddy situation.
Well, the recent P. Diddy situation, and how, if you guys are not familiar with that story, there was hotel videotape that shows a horrific attack that he did on his girlfriend. Hit her, punched her, kicked her, dragged her down the hall. And Serge is talking about, like, in Scientology, in these hotels where many of these things happen, yeah, there's cameras, but none of that. You don't got to pay $50,000 to keep it quiet. These Sea Org members are never going to give it up unless they leave. It was a really interesting take on that. Give it a listen.
Right? It's like you saw him on live video horrifically physically assaulting that woman. Imagine that the Scientology executives do that to children. Where's those videos? Where's the outrage? The hotel we were stuck in kept the videos. Nobody had to pay $50K to keep the video hidden anywhere. You see what I'm saying? It's like we were born in those environments. We were in those environments. We know the executives were all beating each other and beating kids and beating other people. And how many people saw that, right? Because you go back to the P. Diddy situation. How many people at the hotel saw it?
Really great collab that they did there, and they get more into the truth rundown, and it is just mortifying. But it really helps people, I think, understand, make that bridge between, just saying that Scientology is a cult, or Scientology is a human trafficking cult, or a child trafficking cult. These very specific examples for especially people who might be under the radar in Scientology, want to leave, who are questioning, people in Scientology but are kind of questioning it and have their doubts. That's a kind of information that's valuable also to people who've never been in Scientology. So you can understand. So when people say, well, what's your problem with Scientology? Because they might not know. It's not a matter of just it is a matter of these very specific examples, but also the Scientology doctrine itself, the way that it is designed to get people to doubt their own perceptions, what they see. We've been talking a lot about how it is so incredibly the ultimate in gaslighting. And it's weird because I look at it a lot, especially when I do the recaps, kind of like taking a step back a bit And looking at it through the eyes of people who've never been in Scientology helps me really see it for what it is. And I just continue to have my mind blown. So when I go back and re-examine some of these things like the truth rundown and other doctrines in Scientology, knowing what I know now, looking at it through a bit of a different lens, I know that it's really helped my healings and has increased my understanding. And I think that can happen for other people too, especially people, like I said, who want to understand why Scientology is a cult, or who want to leave and are like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because there is a lot of that going on. Like, I thought that's why it's so nice now to know that, oh yeah, you saw what I saw. Okay, good. All right, let's check out. Okay, so D.O.A. Defender of Ants. He has been being, investigated. Scientology's got this guy that for years has been writing Scientology pieces for Scientology. He's a journalist for hire, but I think he mostly works for Scientology, writing hit pieces on people who are against Scientology. Because, when Scientology hires you to write an article on, say, D.O.A. or Aaron Smith-Levin, it's pretty predetermined how that's going to be and how that's going to come out. And this person was going around, doing what Scientology does, which is a noisy investigation, calling D.O.A.'s family members. Well, D.O.A. just thought, you know what? I'm just going to call the guy and see if he has any questions about it and just answer them directly and communicate with him directly. So Aaron, at Growing Up in Scientology, did like a reaction video to this, and we're going to take a little bit of a look at it because he kind of edited down some of D.O.A.'s conversation so we can catch more of it. Let's take a look at this and let's talk about it.
So you protest anything for as long as you were bringing in money?
I protest anything that aligns with my heart and my moral compass. And I love getting money for doing stuff that I believe in and stand up for.
It strikes me as weird. I've been running into a number of people who've been doing that lately with like live stream, computer, stuff. And I don't know. Are you familiar with like Aaron's Scott Levin?
Yeah, Aaron Smith-Levin. Yes, I'm very familiar with him.
Sorry, I was thinking of you. I mean, he's done that. He goes to the live stream thing, gets out, agitates, stirs things up, runs a live stream, and people are sending him money.
My mom says that nobody works for free, and so I do believe that. I'm sure you got paid good when you were at the National Enquirer.
Not bad.
Oh my goodness. It was, Nico, exactly. Computer stuff. And let's be real. One of the current issues with Scientology and their Office of Special Affairs, their dirty trick branch, is they don't understand the culture on the internet, how live streaming works, right? How the chat works, just what it's all about. They don't get it. And now this guy is supposed to be, the journalist for them, writing these stories and finding out, but it's just the whole thing. You got to go see it. It was so great. D.O.A. just maintained his cool and just honestly answered his questions. And I think pointed out some of just the ridiculousness of what he was saying. It was fantastic. I loved it. So then Aaron decides, you know what? I'm going to call him. Since he's asking about me, I'm going to give him a call too. Aaron didn't live stream the call. He recorded the call when he did it, and then he did a live stream about it, which is what we are going to look at here right now.
I mean, is there no professional blowback for being seen as just being a mouthpiece for a human trafficking cult? I mean, come on. I mean, how do you go from being a journalist? I mean, you call yourself a journalist. How do you go from being a journalist to a writer for hire for a human trafficking cult that harasses its former members?
I'm a professional freelance writer. That's what I do. And I don't see anything of that nature in Scientology. I haven't seen anybody who's got any proof of anything like that in Scientology.
What about the Danny Masterson rape trial, where it was proven that Scientologists are excommunicated for going to the police about rape and child sexual assault?
I'm doing what I do for a living, and I'm good at it, and that's that. I've been doing it.
Is he good at it though?
For 50 years or more. and I've got nothing to apologize for.
He's been doing it for 50 years or more, and it shows. And it shows. How dare anybody get paid to be, what is it again? It's called a content creator. This is what I'm saying if they don't understand how it works. They just don't get it. They don't get it. Yep, Grandma Keefe, Blosser is about to get famous. Blosser is the guy's name. First name, I think, John. Let me know if I got that wrong. And Aaron's laugh. Yes. It just cracks me up. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Yeah, Paula. So Aaron is a freelance streamer and he is really good at it. Exactly. You can be a freelance journalist, right? You can be paid to go travel around and write stories for Scientology, but you can't make any money protesting Scientology, being a content creator or anything like that. No. Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You should be doing it for free and holding down another job to support yourself on top of all the hours you put into that content creating. That sounds real familiar. What does that sound like? Oh yeah, working for Scientology. Work for Scientology. Sign a 2.5 or a 5-year contract, or maybe even a billion-year contract. Work 7 days a week, have no time off, don't get paid for it. Maybe if you're lucky, you get that $47 a week. But as a staff member, not in the SEA organization, not getting room and board, not even getting that $47 a week guaranteed. You get what little you get, and you need to get another job outside of your full-time job working for Scientology as a religious volunteer. Is that the expectation? Is that way they think that it's that way? Because in Scientology, that's what happens. Come work for Scientology for free. Get another job to support yourself because you shouldn't be being paid for the work you're doing. Despite the fact that L. Ron Hubbard actually talks about how staff should be well paid. And that could have just been BS, he said, for the staff. I don't know. I've never seen it done. It's just stupid. Francisca says, these noisy investigators are old. Perhaps F. Sciento will hire from this new generation of influencers who can create that special hit piece. Truly, up your game too. At least do that, honestly, right? Get somebody who understands how the internet works. Do. Catherine, good point. The question to him should be, why are you getting paid to write one-sided crap for Cult of Scientology? Yeah, that's exactly. It's just like, it doesn't quite work like that. Now, let me catch up on this a little bit. Arkansas Flamingo. I love that name. Thank you for becoming a member. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray to you. I appreciate it. Love is love. Thank you for the super sticker. I protest in Salt Lake, City, Utah. Love you. Thank you so much for doing that. Shoot me some clips at Natalie@lifeaftercult.com if you are live streaming it at all, and it's something that I can share. But thank you for protesting Scientology in Utah. Oh, and John, yes, that earthquake was October 17th, 1989. You were at the baseball game. Whoa. Yeah, it was a big thing. Vintage Mama of 3, thank you so much for gifting 5 Scientology Life After Cult memberships. Hip, hip, hooray. Thank you so much for that. Eric Rader, hey, good to see you. Thank you for that super chat sticker. I never know which is which. Natalie is on my payroll. That's right. And did you guys know, in case you missed my video earlier with the SP chef, we went through the acts you have to commit to be considered and declared a suppressive person by Scientology. And guess what? Paying this girl, suppressive act every day, all day. And now, secrets out, I am on Eric Rader's payroll. You saw it happen right there. I'm on the payroll of a lot of you, and a lot of you are joining me in committing these suppressive acts, but at least you do so knowingly. All right, let's see. So now let's take a look at a clip from a video that Ashley did. Ashley Andrews from San Francisco. She's been out there protesting, and she got a temporary restraining order the other day outside of Scientology, making claims that she's just there to stalk a child, which is ridiculous. Earlier on, Ashley had shared some concern over a child that went into San Francisco Scientology and wanted to make sure that that child was okay. That child's mother worked for Scientology and then was able to get this temporary restraining order to keep her out of there and away from there. But let's take a look at this clip from Ashley Andrews. Link down below to all the videos we're talking about, so you can go check them out in their entirety and see this full message from Ashley as well.
Or whoever did grant them a temporary restraining order, and this stops me from protesting, which is a constitutional right. And I will be getting a lawyer to help me fight this, because I believe my rights are important. As a U.S. citizen, I should be able to protest. I should be able to film whatever I film from public. And if there's a kid in it, then I'm sorry. There's a kid in it. I'm not stalking anybody. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doxing anybody.
Here's the interesting thing about that. Do you guys remember the other day? I think it was also San Francisco. We shared a clip of a protester out there. There was this weird thing of having this little girl just standing there outside there. And now my question is Scientology putting kids out front as bait to bait the protesters into engaging or videoing them? If that is the case, this is speculation on my part based on what I've seen, that is gross and disgusting. Are they doing the same with elderly? I'm just saying it's something I think people should keep an eye on when you're out there protesting. A lot of times it can be, they want to just bait you into doing things that could be considered or perceived as harassment. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do here. Ken's channel, thank you so much for that. I was on my way to the game. It will be 35 years in October. Natalie must have been 5. Yeah, I was 4, but working in the Sea Org. No, I was, let's see, what did we say? It was 89. So I was 18, turning 19 that year. Man, that feels like it was not that long ago. But when you put it that way, that it was 35 years ago, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That just blows my mind. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. All right. I get distracted by the cramp in my neck. Okay. This is so funny. Pearl Snappy. Do you guys know who David Attenborough is? You'll recognize the voice, I think, that Pearl Snappy is trying to do. David Attenborough. I forget the name of his thing. It was like Animals in the Wild or something like that. Well, Pearl Snappy was doing Scientology in the Wild. And this cracked me up. This is out in Austin. Give this a listen.
Eon. That's right. Now you can see the Scientologists in their natural habitat, looking slightly terrified and a little bit skittish today. I wonder why that could be. Could it be that no matter what exit they choose to use, there will be someone, an SP to be specific, out there waiting for them to let them know indeed what type of organization they find themselves a part of? She is touching him. I don't know if that's allowed. It looks like some 2D flowing between some Scientologists in the wild here. If he were a Texan, he would know how to wear that hat, but clearly he does not, as it is perched way too high and not providing him any sort of shade on his neck. Eon.
You can barely see the guy with the hat there. I had to watch it a couple times, but then I could see it there. Just cracked me up. Just made me laugh. I'm glad that you guys loved it too. That's right. So great. This was amazing. This is gold. I agree. It was just so funny. Amazing Scientologists in the wild. Now, 2D flowing. If you don't know, the second dynamic in Scientology, there are 8 dynamics that comprise life. The first is yourself. The second dynamic is sex, families, children. So when you are 2D flowing someone, it basically means flirting, that you're flirting. You're giving a vibe. You're giving a little 2D flow. You're getting a little like, hey, let's get together. It's a whole vibe. But in Scientology, it's 2D flowing, which a lot of Scientologists get in trouble for because I have seen knowledge reports and things written on people for 2D flowing. Like another Scientologist sees 2 Scientologists and they perceive this vibe, I guess. And I've also seen it where the person who writes the report is mistaking natural affinity and communication for 2D flowing because, it must be 2D flowing if you're being halfway decent to each other. Just blows my mind. All right. Now, also in Austin, this is Selfless Self. He's there with Pearl Snappy. And the police showed up a couple times. They got called because Scientology Waste Resources makes these calls. And the police know it as well, which we're going to hear in these next few clips. But they do need to respond to the calls nonetheless. Thank you, Susan, for the reminder. If all of you could just take a moment and go over to that like button and either click it or tap it, whatever device that you're on. Thank you so much. Let's get back to our video.
Happens all the time.
No, indeed, but it's like, you know, these kinds of calls that plug up 911, plug up response, use these resources. That seems to be a bit of a drain and generally unsafe for a community like this,
Well, that
right?
would be up to the dispatch center. That's not.
Oh,
up to
so
us.
you're running as we're making police contact? That is oh so brave. Oh, so brave of you, sir.
You guys, tell me something. That's that staff member who just walked by. Hold on. We only get like a little bit of a glance of him. I'm going to see if I can back it up a little bit.
Oh, so brave of you.
Just a little bit more. That's not the guy from Denver who assaulted Jay, is it? Hold on.
Contact, that is oh so brave. Oh, so brave of you, sir.
Oh, darn it. I didn't back it up enough. No, I don't think it is.
Oh, so
you guys see that? Looks a little bit like him, but
you're running as we're making police contact? That is oh so brave. Oh, so brave of you, sir.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't believe so. I'm sorry that you guys, you know, keep having to show up like this. Definitely appreciate the general work that y'all do, but I am concerned at the waste of public resources.
and they go on to agree with Self to Self about that, but they need to show up. And I get that. They do. If you get the call, it gets put up on the board by dispatch, you need to go. You don't make the call on whether you go or not, as I understand it. That guy was younger, Kathy. Okay, I think you're right too. No, it's not Curtis. Okay. Thank you, Mitch's self-importance. Thank you. Looks a little familiar though, right? But yeah, that can't be him. Probably not. It's just that Scientology will send people who have committed crimes or might be wanted by the authorities or were involved in an out PR situation to a different Scientology organization. And yeah, well, I wouldn't put it past him to dye his hair so he looked different. But yeah, Curtis's hair was grayish more. You're right. That guy did look younger. Interesting nonetheless. So the police come back again to Austin for the exact same thing because Scientology went all wah about stuff. And take a look at this. Take a look at how Scientology calls the police and then locks them out.
Okay, sure.
I'm working with what they said when they recorded the phone call.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's fine. So
They
yeah,
abuse you to try to take our rights and get charges for us.
yeah, I think they might be just about empty. Is the thing. Yeah, they might be all done for the evening. Yep. So we got you, Pearl. We got you. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah. Am I live somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. TikTok?
YouTube.
YouTube. How many viewers do you have?
Right now, just 70.
70?
70.
Okay, that's good number.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, they call us at least 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would be afraid if you didn't show up for calls for service.
As we speak, right now,
Yeah, I love this guy. For one, he got excited, I think, about being on a live stream there. And, it's talking about like, yeah, you got to show up for the call. But watch this. There's a little bit more with this guy. I just love this.
There's a what?
person got hit by the
Oh, no. That's awful. Yeah.
So he's sharing with them how there was a very, I'm not clear on what the call was, but his point was it was a very important call, something happening somewhere else that they could not respond to because they had to respond to this.
And that's why we are frustrated as well, because why are you being called out for this dumb stuff?
That's some waste of public resources and emergency response. Yeah.
Y'all have been great and very understanding with us. I have like 8 weeks.
For real.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now there's nothing I can do at this point.
Yeah.
If they call us back, if they show up back, if this happened again, someone had to show up again.
Right.
Got to figure out what's going on. Okay.
Sure, sure.
What was your name? First name. Just first name. Yeah.
So they introduced them with their names because this guy's like so cool. So he muted it at that point. But yeah.
Well, that was very kind.
Just a great interaction. Really nice to see. I just love that. Yeah, Greg, you're right. It's like a toddler calling 911. 911, can you come because somebody took my Legos? My Legos fell apart. Just ridiculous. Okay, Sacramento. There's some stuff going on in Sacramento. Liz Ferris was there, and Saul Goodman YT was there. We're going to look at a couple clips there. This one is from Liz Ferris, and it's kind of cool because when you show up and you get that local support of people there, I just think it's the neatest thing ever. And that happened to Liz. Check this out. She's sharing her hat.
Every day.
It says Scientology is a cult if you can't see it fully there.
Huh? Can I take a picture of your hat? Fuck yeah.
And then this young lady comes and wants to take a picture of her hat, and she shares something very interesting. I got it turned up as much as I can. See if you can hear it.
I went to religious trauma group therapy for like 2 years.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
She shares that she went to religious group trauma therapy, which is so interesting.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anyways, glad you're all here. Oh, sorry, that was so awkward. I'm like standing in front of your GoPro.
Hey, it's totally cool. Because you know it's a cult. That's all that matters. Agreed. All day long.
Yeah, it's like that all day. Just people walking by going, yeah, Scientology's a cult. That's right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being out here doing this and spreading the word. People around there nearby, they know what's up. They do. Greg says, religious trauma survivor. So proud of you, girly. Yep. Absolutely. I thought it was great that she shared that. All right, let's take a look at this. Is a clip from Saul Goodman YT, linked down below to the whole video, where there's a little bit of hoverboard tech. This is a new thing. At least it's new to me. Check this out.
Your family misses you. There you go, Nance. That's what you do. Get out there this weekend and show them that you ain't going to be stopped. Just makes us stronger. Makes us more interbulated. Amanda does. We got some that D.O.A donated to Liz over there. And I will definitely look who's coming by, guys. I know you probably haven't seen this yet. He's got his hoverboard tech out.
I just love it. So many different ways to do it. You know, the creativity. I just love it. It looked so fun too, didn't it? That's the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, I'd love to try that. But like, then I go, ooh, I don't have great insurance. That's probably not a good idea. But it looks like so much fun. I've always wanted to try one of those hover things because I feel too like it might help with strengthening my core, because I hear that's a good thing. I need to strengthen my core. Ken's channel says Scientos obviously just read bad LRH stories and not stories like the boy who cried wolf. There is some truth to that. There is. Misfit 76, thank you for becoming a member. Hip, hip, hooray. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's catch up here. Oh, I need to let you guys know. I need to let you guys know something. Later on today, if all goes as planned, which I expect it to, 12 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, my time, I'm going to be sitting down and interviewing Windy City Thayton. He is out in Chicago. He is probably, I would say he's most well known for shutting down Scientology recruitment, collecting back Scientology promotional items as they're being handed out by Scientology recruiters, and letting those people know that Scientology is a human trafficking cult, and here is why. He does a lot of that. Windy City Thayton watch here on YouTube. And I'm really excited to be able to sit down and actually, I've got a million questions. I do. So bring your questions for that. All right, let's see. Do we have any more questions? Mitch's self-importance. Natalie, I also protest in LA. Has anyone ever seen me there? Besides that one time when I was promoting my book, I mean. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Amy, I hear you. Yeah, I can't with my vertigo and bad knees, like those, the hoverboards. I know that's kind of like what my thing too. Like I just would need like a harness, one of those acrobatic harnesses that can hold me up. And then it's got to be like riding a bike. You get a feel for it and how it works. I see people zooming around all over the place, and it might very well be the future of transportation. But I don't know. We'll see. I just want to know, how do I actually need to learn how to do this? Will it really be a thing? I don't know. Okay, let's see. I am Nancy. I just saw your note. I got we're making sure I'm hitting the starred stuff, and I did. Also, question here from Irrelevant Panda. If the kid was indeed bait, would our friend Cairo have knowledge involvement in that? So this is in reference to in San Francisco, where a weird thing happened the other day where a little girl was put outside of the Scientology organization, the same place that issued a temporary restraining order to Ashley Andrews for allegedly stalking this child, which is ridiculous. Then they go and they put a child like 3-4 years old out there by herself when another protester is out there. And that protester just immediately turned her camera and encouraged the little girl to go back inside. She did not fall for it and take the bait. Now, your question, would Cairo know? Aaron Cairo runs Scientology in San Francisco. He also runs Rail Skateboarding, which is quite a big channel here on YouTube. And we've been covering him a lot lately because he likes to go on YouTube channels and say that, no, I'm not running Scientology. Yeah, you are. In San Francisco. So no amount of word salad and trying to turn that around is going to convince anybody otherwise. But I don't know. I would think so, that he would know, being that he's running Scientology. Trust me, this is an issue that they have meetings about. Orgs around the world that have protesters there regularly, they have meetings about this. So I would have a hard time believing that he did not know if that's what was happening and going down. But we'll have to find out. We're going to have to wait for Aaron Cairo to realize that Scientology is poison and it's tanking his business, which is something he is worried about. He had said this on video, not that Scientology is tanking his business, but that, he's got some worry and, like as a business owner, as a small business owner, it's always a stressful endeavor. I get that. But then add to it the damage that it's doing to your business that you work so hard to build for over a decade, but your connection to Scientology and running Scientology has the potential of tanking that. You can't tell me at some point when it starts hurting you in the pocketbook that you don't go, ooh, this is why celebrities who are Scientologists rarely speak about it, because they know it will hurt them in the pocketbook. So how do you run Scientology, be a staff member and if for an organization and have it hurt your business, and that doesn't eventually your livelihood, where you go, I don't know, maybe I need to make a choice here. Maybe there's a reason why. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. But you know me, I'm the optimist. I hold out hope that all kinds of people are leaving Scientology, even our friends in the Office of Special Affairs. I would be the first one here to welcome you with open arms and help you get the help that you need to get on your feet, and just other things that are really going to help in separating yourself out from that Scientology mindset. And people leave Scientology sometimes in stages. Maybe you just want to leave the Sea organization. That's what I did. I left the Sea organization, stayed a Scientologist. It just like was this easing out of it over a long period of time. I think ripping it off like a Band-Aid would be the better way to go, but that's just not always easy for a lot of people, especially if you have a multi-generation family in Scientologists or you work with Scientologists in your business. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Thank you. Keep exposing the bad actors, Natalie. We are so here for it. Me too, especially now that I have a speaker in the shower. I might not get out of the shower now. I'm going to be showering with all of you. Listen to the live streams in the shower. Shower time with Natalie. So John's saying, I think that's why The Simpsons have lasted so long, because Nancy doesn't talk about Scientology, really. That's true. That's a fact. Especially these days, you're hard pressed to find these celebrity Scientologists. For goodness sake, they're having themselves photoshopped out of Scientology propaganda photos, right? That event where you could see there's John Travolta and Elizabeth Moss in the front row. Later on Scientology's website, there's a photo and they're gone from it. They're gone from it, scrubbed from it, because they're probably like, hey, can you take us out of that picture? I'll show up, but you need to edit me out of the photo. Liz Ferris, why do you give away my secret shower routine? Liz, do you have a speaker in the shower? I am so late to the party. I am super late to the party on this one. Apparently, you guys have been doing SPTV shower time for a long time, and I was not. But now I'm in. I'm in on it. Count me in on it. Astroflux, yes. OMG, those pictures were super photoshopped. It made me laugh. The ones removing JT and Elizabeth Moss from the front of the Scientology event. Absolutely. No, I agree. Shh. Sandra OT420 is like, secrets out. Secrets out. We were all doing this quietly, and now everybody's going to know. Pause for Andrea. Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much, Natalie. I'll be mostly on the replay crew. Hashtag #MyTonyStrong. Thank you for that. Thank you. We are going to do an update soon. Tony actually wants to participate in it. So we're just working out the timing on being able to do that. Mornings tend to be a better time for him. I've got another video at noon. So maybe early afternoon. But in the next few days, we are going to do it. Tony wants to sit down and join me to do an update about what's happening. We're trying to do those weekly to keep you guys in the loop. And he wanted an opportunity to thank all of you. Have been amazing. He's been the cards, the support, the great stuff you guys sent off the Amazon wish lists, all things that have been helping him be more comfortable. So we are going to be doing that. Gina, I will find out which speaker it is, because I actually don't know. It's round. It's round and it's small, but I was surprised at how good the sound is. I carried it around for a while. It was great. Few of you are asking. I will try to find out. And if the lovely person who sent it to me is here, or you catch this on the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you share in the comments too? I'll go look. It was something I didn't recognize. I know it's written on there, and I know it starts with an I think, and that's all I know. That's right, Sandy. Multitasking at its finest. Shower tech. Hashtag shower tech. All right, everybody. Now remember, 12 p.m. Central Time, my time. We're going to be talking with Windy City Thetan Watch in Chicago. Find out how he got started, what I want to know, like, what's the most shocking thing that you've seen while out protesting Scientology, or what has surprised you the most as you've gotten involved and continued to learn about this? Squirrel SPTV, does that mean Natalie will be YouTubing from the shower now? Not at this moment, but let's just see how things go. I'm still early in the YouTube thing. You never know. I never rule anything out. But likely, no, that's not happening. But I will be listening in the shower for sure. Absolutely. All right, everybody. If you don't catch us live in a little bit, please do catch the replay. While you're here, hit that like button. I would appreciate it so much if you would subscribe as well. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all of your support. We are going to do a room raid, and Nancy has one pulled up. Let me see if I can click on it. Let's see. Nancy's choice today. Where are we? Room raid. Here we go. Nancy, you want to put that in the chat? It's Mexican long hair. Looks like he's live. You can go to sptv.space anytime, and I'll be right there. Anytime, and find out who is live streaming. So right now, go to Mexican long hair. He's right here right now. We can do a fun little room raid there. And see, can you see it? Did I pull it up? Yep. Head over there. There we go. Nancy's got a link there in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. I will see you guys a little bit later. Show Mexican long hair some love. Hold on. I almost messed this up. Most importantly, get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.